Hey, hello everyone. It's Jay Ferguson here. Thank you very much for tuning in. Happy 2026 to you all. I hope everyone had a lovely and safe holiday out there, wherever you may be. It's been about a year or so since I started this little YouTube channel all about records and record collecting and stuff. And I just want to say thanks to everybody who has either subscribed or commented or liked or offered words of encouragement. I just really appreciate it. It's sort of an unusual thing to do, although a lot of people do it, I guess. But it's been great and encouraging, and it's been fun as well. So I think I'll continue to do some more episodes into 2026. So hopefully everyone will keep following along. I really enjoyed a lot of other people's channels this year as well. I discovered a lot of music that I didn't know about, and even some things in this stack of records I'm going to show you as well. That's my favorite thing about watching some of these channels is just the sharing and the active discovery of music that I might not have heard of or discovered elsewhere. And I like to think that this channel of mine is perhaps doing a similar thing, and people are watching and maybe seeing records that they didn't know existed, and maybe going out and checking them out for themselves. And anyhow, I just hope the music that I'm sharing is of interest to others to discover. So yeah, thanks very much, everyone. I noticed that a lot of other channels, by the way, have been sort of filming videos that are kind of like a wrap up of 2025, maybe their favorite finds from the past year. And I kind of thought that I would do the same. I kind of have about 10 records. I know it seems like a lot, so make some popcorn or whatever. There's a lot of stuff to go through. I'm going to try and keep it quick. I also have a little pile of honorable mentions as well, so I'm going to try and blast through those a little bit quickly. But anyhow, it was a fun year. The band that I play in, we get to travel a lot, so I get to go to record stores in different parts of the country, and I live in Ontario here in Canada, and there's a lot of record fairs throughout the year, not just in Toronto, but in a lot of the satellite cities around the area. And also, I live dangerously close to many record stores in Toronto, so they're always tempting to drop in. And anyhow, there's a lot of places to find cool records out in the wild where I am, and the places that I travel to. So I had the opportunity to find some cool records this year. So I have a little top 10 and an honorable mentions pile. I'm going to try and, like I said, breeze through the honorable mentions pile. So let's just get to those first. The first one is a record that I found at a outdoor record fair here in Toronto this past summer. And I love original 60s British pressings by artists that I really like. And this record fits in that category perfectly. It's Marianne Faithfull, R.I.P., who passed away just about 1 year ago. This is I believe her second record. It's called Come My Way, a nice mono copy on Decca, original British copy. Lovely photo of Marianne there. And yeah, I enjoy her 60s records very much. So like I said, I was very happy to find this at an exceptionally reasonable price, and this fit into my collection perfectly. So if you don't know these records, the British ones sound lovely. Her records in North America would have been, probably carved up a little bit the way that the Beatles records were or the early Stones records were. So it's nice to find the original British ones that were sort of as nature intended. Anyhow, a wonderful record by the late Marianne Faithfull. Happy to find that. I also found this at a record fair here in Toronto, but I forget what point it was. It's not that exciting to look at, but it's a wonderful record by an artist by the name of Daryl Banks, who I think was originally from Ohio. This is from 1966, a song called Somebody Somewhere Needs You. I don't know if you can see it. Should I pull it closer or whatever? Anyhow, the thing that sort of caught my eye, I had heard his name before. He only made like a couple albums and a handful of 45s, and I think he passed away in 1970. It's on the Revelot label, which released all those wonderful Parliaments singles. George Clinton, before Parliament Funkadelic, they were known as the Parliaments, and very much like a Motown style band. And those records are fantastic, and they were on the Revelot label. So knowing that I love those records, this one caught my eye, and I'm glad that I picked it up because I love Somebody Somewhere Needs You. Needs You, pardon me, by Daryl Banks. A wonderful soul record. Happy to find that this summer. Speaking of records being discovered on other people's channels, there's a channel run by a guy named Crazy Jimmy, who digs up all kinds of cool private press stuff. Some of his stuff, he sort of leans towards some cool pop stuff, but also is very into cosmic country, I guess is the terminology, and cheap heat, I believe, is his other terminology. But he showed these two records by this artist, and a few weeks later I found them here in Toronto, and even one of them my sweetheart picked up for me. Thank you very much, and that was a real treat. The artist is the name. The artist is the name. The artist goes by the name of Delbert and Glenn, and this is their debut album, promo copy. Cool. I mean, whatever. It's a cow, but it's got sort of a cool collage look front cover, and cool gatefold as well. It might not normally be the music that I would gravitate towards. It's very, it's like countryed up rock or rocked up country kind of. I can't really decide, but some of the songs sort of fit into like a, it's almost like when the Rolling Stones try and do country, sort of like Dead Flowers or something like that. I like it, and I do like certain types of country music, but it might not be my go-to zone. But this record, their debut record, and also their second record, Subject to Change, which I found for like $1.99 or so. I was very happy to find that. It almost falls into that sort of Exile era Rolling Stones, or even early Faces, or mid-period Faces, or even the singers on the record are either Delbert or Glenn, and I don't know the voices apart, but one of them sounds very much like Chris Robinson, who's the lead singer of the Black Crowes. So if you like anything in that sort of zone of sort of countrified Exile or Faces, or even a bit of Black Crowes, you might really enjoy these records. They're also, the band is really loose and rocking, and this was a really interesting discovery for me. So thank you very much, Crazy Jimmy. I'm going to show the label as well, because I think he did, and I just think it's a really cool, it's the Clean record label. And it's just an unusual design and a label I had never heard of before. So I was happy to discover these courtesy of the Crazy Jimmy channel. And anyhow, yeah, wonderful. Delbert and Glenn, first record, and Subject to Change. Really enjoyed those. Right before the end of the year, there's a record fair here in Toronto, and I didn't find too much. I found a couple cool things, but I found a 12-inch EP by a band called the Tweeds. Now, I had a 7-inch single. I think their first 7-inch single I had, and I just saw this and I thought I would try it. And I would say it's about 3 out of 5. There's 5 songs on this EP, and I would say, which ones I like? Hey Baby, She's the Girl, and Later Tonight. I think those are the 3 that I like the most. And it's sort of Massachusetts 1980, guitar power pop. And I don't even know if they released a full album. I think they just released singles and EPs for about the better part of 10 years. Anyhow, saw that goes on the honorable mention list. And if you like that kind of genre, you may want to check it out, but maybe you know about them already. But anyhow, I didn't know this EP, and I was happy to discover it here in Toronto. So yeah, that was kind of the honorable mentions. And now I think I'm going to just change my notes there. Get into sort of my 10 favorite records that I found this year. The first one is a record, also speaking of another YouTube channel. A great one is Vinyl Stockholm with the host Jonas. He was one of the first ones that I started watching a little bit more regularly. I really like his content. I like the records that he shows. And I also noticed in his kind of in the bio on his YouTube page that he has a website where he's selling some records of his own. I think, just either extras or stuff that he has upgraded, or records he doesn't need anymore. And after watching one of his episodes, I went and checked it out, and I noticed they had this record that I'd been looking for, a nice copy for years. Every copy that I ever came across was always sort of really beat up or just not in great shape. So I messaged him, and I ended up buying this record from his site, and it's a wonderful record from the late '60s in California, a band called The Smoke, and it's different than the British band called The Smoke, but the songs on this record, the back cover, it's on the Sidewalk record label. I also have the label here. I know some people like to see the labels. I don't know if you catch it in the glare there. Anyhow, wonderful. I don't know how you would describe it. Like it's melodic pop songs, a little bit psychedelic, but very orchestrated. Not sort of zany out there. Definitely taking its cue probably from artists like the Zombies or thing. Very considered songwriting and very interesting production and strings and mellotrons and stuff like that. But a wonderful, wonderful album. And it's kind of getting more and more expensive, but justifiably so. I don't think it sold that well when it originally appeared in the late '60s, and people like to own it because the songs are so good. It's not just sort of one of those records that's rare just for or people desire it just because it's rare. The songs are fantastic, and it really does stand up with a lot of those late '60s classics, like whether it's the Millennium or even Odyssey and Oracle and things like that. Or the White Album, what have you. Wonderful record. And also the main brain, I like how it's dedicated to Stuart Sutcliffe, which is pretty cool. The main brain behind the band is a guy named Michael Lloyd, who actually went on to produce Sean Cassidy. So that's his career. I don't know if I'd say that in a nutshell, but I think it's kind of cool that he went on to produce those cool early Sean Cassidy singles. But anyhow, I just wanted to highlight that, and I was very happy that Jonas had a copy of this that I could buy from him, and I love it. So that's one of my top 10 favorites this year. Another record that I actually ordered online, and it actually came from Sweden as well. And I highlighted that record in one of my early videos, the Smoke one. And I think I highlighted this one as well, but it's still one of my favorites, so I'm going to show it again. It's a band from New York in the 1970s, early 1970s. They're called the Bratz. And there they are, right there, looking bratish, I suppose. Anyhow, one of the main guys in this band, or the track, anyhow, here's sorry, I should show you the labels as well. That's the A-side, Be a Man, on the Whiplash record label. And I think this was recorded in 1974, but I don't know if it came out then or a little bit later. It's a little bit confusing. Quaalude Queen is the B-side, and that's from 1974 as well. A guy named Ricky Rivets, who plays guitars, he also was in a pre-New York Dolls band with Johnny Thunders called Actress. So, their record, this is a very New York Dolls sounding record, and I love the New York Dolls, so this really fits in well in my collection, and just a fantastic rocker with a little bit of piano in there, and I love this track. It's been this record's getting a little bit more expensive, but it's also been reissued, so if you want to track down an inexpensive reissue that'll probably cost you, $12 or something, you could get it that way. And either way, whether you try and track down an original or a reissue, it's just a wonderful rocker. So I was very happy to find that this year.
But I'm not yet a boy, and that's good. Don't you really love your mother? And hasn't she been good to you? So don't deny her existence and show her resistance. Let your mother come on through. Aren't you glad? Tell me, aren't you glad?
I know I said, I found a lot of records in the neighborhood. I guess my top 3 right here that I'm displaying are actually from afar. This record is by an artist who I only discovered over the past few years, but I love his songwriting. It's inspired songs that I write, and he only really made 3 records, three solo albums on 3 different labels. And anyhow, I'll stop talking and show you the wonderful record. It's this guy, Jimmy Campbell. This is his 3rd and final album, and I was so happy to track down a nice copy of this for a reasonable price online. It's getting to be an expensive record, and it's hard to find. It's got a very black matte cover. There's the back cover as well. and it's hard to find one that it's not really beat up or really worn. So I was excited to find this record. He's originally from Liverpool in the early 60s. He was in a band called the Kirkbys, who, you know, made about 3 45s. That sort of morphed into another band called the 23rd Turnoff, who made 145. And then he made 3 solo records, all on different labels. I think the first record was on Fontana. The second one was on Vertigo, which I also have, called Half Baked. Fantastic record. And then this one, his third record. In between, also on Philips, I believe he sort of formed a band called Rockin' Horse, which was sort of a combination of him and other people that he'd worked with either in the Kirkbys or on his solo records. And that record is a fantastic, you know, if you like those late 60s British, you know, well, I guess you can say the Beatles, but also Badfinger style records, that Rockin' Horse record is unbelievable. And I don't have a copy of it, and I'm looking for a really nice copy. So if you have one and you're looking to get rid of it, give me a shout. The Rockin' Horse record is fantastic, and so is this. I find it's, you know, his songwriting is it's quite personal and it's very melancholy, but still with a bit of humor in it. I find his writing is very much like John Lennon or the melancholy side of Ray Davies. And it's just absolutely wonderful. One of my favorite records, and I was so happy to find a lovely copy this year. Jimmy Campbell's album. Anyhow, yeah, this one came from England as well, not Sweden, but anyhow, very, very excited to track down a nice copy of that. Yeah, all right. Next on the list, there's a friend of mine this past year who was selling his record collection, and I got to sort of look through it and pick out some things. A lot of the stuff was cool 90s, British, UK, indie stuff, some American stuff, but a lot of the stuff that I was really excited to find was the UK 90s stuff, just records that I didn't pick up at the time or thought like, oh, I'll get it later, and then you know, you forget and then you can't find it anymore. So he had a lot of records by Stereolab, and I bought a few of them. And this was one that I don't think I had seen before. I don't think I even realized it existed as a 12-inch single. And I was very happy to find it because I really enjoyed the B-sides on it as well. It's the Stereolab 12-inch for the song called Captain Easy Chord, and it's taken from the Sound Dust LP, which is a record that I really enjoy by them, kind of a mid-period record. And yeah, it's just a cool 12-inch. They often, when they did like 10-inch or 12-inch records, they had B-sides that weren't on records, so they're kind of exciting to find. But also, I know they've done sort of collections or compilations that collect a lot of that stuff together, but it's fun finding the original artifact, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I'm a big Stereolab fan, and this had the songs Long Life Love, Canned Candies, and Moodles on it, and they're some of my favorite B-sides by Stereolab. I really enjoy this era, and I really enjoy those tracks, so I was excited to find that. And they always have sort of the custom style labels that match the artwork there, and the sort of handwritten notes as well. Anyhow, really happy to find that, and if you're a Stereolab fan, I recommend this if you see it out in the wild. I think there might have been only about 2,000 copies made of this, from what I understand. And I found a few other Stereolab things in the collection, but this was just maybe my favorite, just because I hadn't really seen it before. Anyhow, really great. Okay, next on the list is 3 records in one, kind of because they're all the same artist, and I found them all at the same time, and I couldn't decide which one to highlight, so I'm just going to highlight all of them rather quickly. It's from the late 70s, early 80s, eccentric guitar, ramshackle, artsy-ish pop band. Would you call them pop? I don't know. They have melodies and stuff like that. If you think something like Slanted and Enchanted by Pavement is pop, then I think you might consider this band sort of pop. The band is, of course, the Swell Maps, and I found their second, third, and fourth singles all at once in absolutely beautiful shape, and I was very excited because they're wonderful, wonderful records. I didn't find the first one. It wasn't there, so I'm still on the lookout for a nice copy of that. But anyhow, really happy to find these. The first one, which is the second single, is called Dresden Style, and that's it right there, the front cover. And the back cover, very much their cut and paste and typewriter aesthetic. Wonderful record. The second one, I don't even know which is the highlight or the key track, as the as a radio promoter, I might say. Yeah, Swell Maps. This is their third single, and the 3 tracks are English Verse, Monologues, and Real Shocks. Once again, sort of cut and paste typewriter, and cool little illustration there. And their 4th single, which is absolutely fantastic. So happy to track this down, is Let's Build a Car. And there is the front cover. Once again, similar aesthetic on the back, and these were all on the Rough Trade label, and they're just wonderful. I don't see them that often, so finding them all at once, someone must have brought their record collection to a store, and they had all of these at once. I'll show one of the labels anyhow. They're often sort of similar cut and paste photocopy style artwork as well. This one actually has handwritten stuff on it, but anyhow. The graphics are great, the records are great, and exciting, lo-fi recordings for sure, for the most part, but super exciting. Okay, next up we have a French-Canadian artist. Often on Instagram, I follow a lot of people who just share, people who are collectors who share records that they've either found or from their collection. And I think that's where I saw this, and I can't remember the account that I saw it. I just remember taking a screen grab of it and remembering to keep an eye out for it. I think it was like they had the album cover up, and then if you swipe through, they had, a turntable playing bits of some of the songs. And I thought this was really cool. I'd never heard of the record before, nor I don't think I had ever seen it, or I'd never really taken notice of it. But it's a French-Canadian artist from Ottawa, originally called Dompierre. I hope I'm pronouncing that. Dompierre. Am I pronouncing it correctly? I took 12 years of French, maybe to no good. But that's the front cover. That's the back cover. It's a double record with a gatefold. And I just want to show you so you can see the Francois there himself with a pipe and very cool glasses. And it's all instrumental. And it's just a super cool, sort of a bunch of different styles. It's actually 3 sides. The 4th side is etched. And I'll show you that really quickly. There's the label right there with the cool Dompierre logo right there as well. This is a Canadian original. I'd love to. It's not in amazing shape, but I found it for $9. And after just sort of learning about it on Instagram, I grabbed it, and hopefully I'll find maybe a nice French copy, because it came out in France as well, probably in a nice glossy sleeve. And it's got some etchings of French sayings and some flowers, and I don't know if you can see it very well if I tilt it a little bit. Anyhow, kind of unusual, but 3 sides of cool instrumental music. Some of it sounds sort of like, soundtrack to like French, 70s films or something like that. Some of it, I would say it's not as eccentric or as different as stuff by someone like, say, Jean-Claude Vanier, who produced a lot of those records for Serge Gainsbourg. And I don't know, am I pronouncing that correctly? I always wonder if I'm doing it right. But anyhow, Jean-Claude Vanier made some really interesting records. He also made his own record in, I believe, the late 60s or early 70s. That's a very desirable and cool sounding record, and great instrumental compositions on that. And some of this even sort of touches into that zone. Some of it reminds me of, I don't know if anybody out there knows the artist, a French artist by the name of Rob, who plays keyboards in the band Phoenix. And he plays keyboards live in the band Phoenix. And he was also on Source Records around that, late 90s, early 2000s era. And he made a really cool record called Don't Kill. He made a couple of solo records, but the one that I have a couple of his EPs, but one of them is just called Don't Kill. And it's cool 70s style instrumental music that sounds very much like you would hear in a, maybe in an action film or something like that. But very musical and great stuff. And I find some of that stuff on this record sounds like that. I don't know if he would have known of this record or not, but it could just be coming from a similar sensibility. So if you like any of those things that I described, whether it's French soundtrack music or a bit of Jean-Claude Vanier or Rob, who, like I said, plays in keyboards for Phoenix in their live setting, you might enjoy this record or keep an eye open for it. It's funny, I never really noticed it before, and since I found this year, I've seen 2 other copies out in the wild as well. But it's a little bit worn, and I'd like to find a better copy of it as well. But anyhow, pretty great gatefold. Pretty awesome looking dude right there making music. So Dompierre, that was a really cool find this year. I'm not really, this next one, I'm not really doing these in any order. Maybe I should have really ramped up to what my favorite was. It's hard to say. Like Jimmy Campbell is pretty high at the top of the list, and the Smoke record is hard to beat. And this one would also be, maybe tie those records for one of my favorite discoveries this year. Once again, there's a seller in Toronto who's on Instagram who I follow, and he sells at a lot of the local, or at least 1 or 2 of the local record shows here in Toronto. And this one, he highlighted this record on his Instagram account and also played a few samples from it. And I was like, wow, that's super cool. I don't think he was selling it or anything like that, but he was just sort of highlighting it. I was like, wow, that's cool. I got to keep an eye open for that. And then when I saw his table at the next record show that I went to, I had a look through his things, and he had the record for sale, and I bought it immediately. I was very excited to find it, and it's this band from Singapore. They're called the October Cherries, and this is from 1969, and it's called Meet the October Cherries. As you can see 3 of them there, and one of them with his back turned on the back cover. I don't know why, but anyhow, if you're a fan of some of the other touch points I'm sure you've heard me go on about on this channel before. I love stuff like, as I mentioned before, Rockin' Horse or Badfinger or Paul McCartney for sure. If you like Badfinger or Paul McCartney, you're going to love this record. The songs are fantastic. It's produced very much like Paul McCartney, early 70s style. And the songs are melodic and cool lyrics. It's sung, like I said, it's from Singapore, but it's sung in English, and which makes sense. And it's released on their own record label called Ball Records, Baal. And here is I don't know if you can see that through there. It's got sort of a cool light explosion label there, and you can see it in the glare. But I only heard a few songs from that Instagram post of his, but the rest of the record is super. The band, from what I understand, went on to make another record. I should have written down what it's called. Oh, Dream Seller, pardon me. That was the next record that was on Columbia. And they also continued to make records, but also under a different name. One of them is Truck, and another one is Colonel Truck. And some of those records have re-recordings of songs from the Dream Seller album. So it gets very confusing. They changed their name, re-recorded some songs a couple of times. And, they also concurrently were making records that were just almost like re-recording top 10 hits of the day. So they'd be recording, Carole King songs or something like that on some of their other records. So they have a little bit of a confusing history, which I just sort of dug into after finding this record. But anyhow, I had never heard of it before, never heard of this band before this year, and I was really happy to discover this record. So if you like any of that late 60s British Abbey Road style pop rock, you might I'm going to say you're guaranteed to enjoy this record by the October Cherries. Really happy to find this copy, and thanks to the seller who posted. And I was really happy he was not interested enough to keep this record anymore, because I love it. One of my favorite discoveries and records of the year, for sure. Meet the October Cherries. Okay, next on the list, this is a record by a band. I've got records by them before, and there's a friend of mine, Frank, who lives in Australia. He passed this record along to me, and I was very, very fortunate and thankful. It's a band who I love from Australia called the Easy Beats, and this is their third record called Volume 3. Tons of great pop rockers on this one, leading off with Sorry, which is amazing. Their records are so loud and exciting, the way, like, say, those early Who records or the Creation records are. And I really love the Easy Beats, so I was super happy to get an original Australian Parlophone mono copy of this, if you can see that through the glare there. Nice mono Parlophone copy, and I think that just about rounds out my Easy Beats collection. I got a couple of other things from Frank, and I was also thinking of doing an episode on all of these sort of maybe 60s and 70s Australian records that I have in my collection. I don't have a ton, but I can make a little video. Let me know if that's something of interest to you. You could leave a comment and let me know if you think that would be cool or not. And I would highlight this and maybe some of the other Easy Beats records and other records that I have from Australia. But I just wanted to highlight this. I was really excited to get this year. So thank you, Frank. And yeah, love the Easy Beats. Wonderful, wonderful record. All right, so this next record is also a record that I learned from or discovered via a YouTube channel. Once again, the Crazy Jimmy channel. I'm going to put a little link to his channel down in my description as well. And, you know, I'm also going to put the Vinyl Stockholm store that I was mentioning before. I'm going to put that down there, and you might want to check out and see if there's anything interesting that's for sale there. And I'm going to highlight Crazy Jimmy's channel as well, because I find a lot of interesting stuff through him, and this record is no exception. I think I watched, one of his episodes early on a Sunday morning, as I want to do. I went to a record store that afternoon, and I found a mint copy of it sitting right there on the rack, so I had to pick it up. The band is called Glad, and they are from, when was this record from? 1969, California. And this is their sole LP called Feelin' Glad. It's the front cover right there, and the back cover as well. I'll show you the record label. It's just on, not that unusual, but they're on ABC Records. Probably the most famous person here is this gentleman right here. His name is Timothy B. Schmidt, who went on to be, I think he was in Poco for a little while, but of course went on to fame in the Eagles. So this was, I don't know if this is his first band, but he doesn't write a lot in this, but he probably sings a little bit, and I assume he's playing guitar. I'm not 100% sure. They don't really designate who does what. But if you like, I don't know if it's in that category of like California Sunshine Pop, or even if you like things by, I mentioned this on the last episode, referring to other records, Sagittarius or the Millennium, or even things like the Monkees' later period records, or even the Mamas and the Papas a little bit, you would really, I think, enjoy this record. There's some great ones on it that I love. Picking Up the Pieces, Love Needs the World. There's some songs with just like strings on it, but there's some orchestrated songs with strings, but also some more up-tempo rocking, as rocking as they can get, like in a Monkees style, and some cool sort of, like I said, sunshine pop records that would fit in between sort of like Millennium or Sagittarius. It's almost like I don't know if it sounds like stuff that Kurt Betcher would have had his hand in, but some of the tracks do. There's another one, Johnny Silver Rye, which I love, and Silly Girl, the last track, almost reminds me of something that might have appeared on Colin Blunstone from the Zombies, his first solo record. So there's a bit of variety on the record. There's even a couple of records that have that sort of like California country tinge thing. It seemed like they're jumping off on a few different directions. But this record, I got it and I was like, yeah, it's all right. But I've listened to it more and more this year, and there's so many songs on it that I really enjoy. So that's why I have this in my top finds this year. So Feeling Glad by Glad. So if you like any of that sort of stuff I described, you might want to check that out. Okay, I'm just down to the last couple of records here, I guess. This one is a record I was just super happy to find at a table at a record fair this year. There's a couple of fellows, Eddie and Ryan, who always dig up some cool stuff. And I've bought some original Rolling Stones records, original UK Rolling Stones records from them in the past. And I found another one. This one I had already, but I found this copy is in such beautiful shape that I was so happy to upgrade my copy. I love finding original UK stereo and mono versions of Rolling Stones records. So I was very happy to find, this is not a very exciting record to look at, I'm sure many of you have seen it before, but an original mono UK copy of Beggar's Banquet by the Rolling Stones, one of my favorite records of all time. It was the first Rolling Stones record that I got in 1981. I got this from a friend in Halifax, and also the same year Tattoo You came out. So my two first Stones records were Beggar's Banquet and Tattoo You. Kind of slightly different eras, but both equally excellent in their own merit. And so I'll just show you. It was nice. It comes with the original mono inner sleeve. Other people like to see that sort of stuff. And the Decca red mono labels. In lovely condition. It's a great sounding record in mono. Now, one thing is about this record, a lot of the mono records in the 60s were mixed in mono and mixed in stereo. So there would be a dedicated mix for each release by those artists. By the end of the 60s, mono was really getting phased out. So this record, the only true mono mix is Sympathy for the Devil, and the rest of it is a fold down of the stereo mix. It still sounds fantastic. And it's cool hearing the different mix of Sympathy for the Devil. There's some different guitar parts in the solo towards the end that Keith Richards played. And the beginning, the sort of yelping of Mick, you hear him in the beginning sort of hooting and hollering, as they would say. There's some different ones, and he comes in at slightly different places, and it sounds a little bit different. So it's kind of fun to hear a different mix of a very, very well-known song in stereo. So very happy to find this wonderful sounding record. The stereo one sounds great too. Let It Bleed, the next Stones record, was also released in mono, but that one is a complete fold down. There's no dedicated mixes as far as I understand. But anyhow, beautiful, beautiful copy. Thank you to Eddie of Ryan and Eddie, who had this for sale. I was very happy to take this off your hands. So lovely, lovely record. And the last record that I have is a record that I mentioned in the last episode. I also had that Eternity's Children record, but I just talked about it so recently that I decided I'm not going to have it on this. That would be up there in my favorite finds this year. But this is the record that I haven't even opened yet, but I mentioned on the tour that Sloan was on last fall. I waffled on a record, and I called our manager, Mike, who lives out in Vancouver right now. I asked him to go back to the store and pick it up because I was thinking about it. I was like, I should have bought it. Anyhow, so I finally got it from him when he was home for Christmas, and I haven't even opened it yet, but I just thought I would show it anyhow. It's the first record by the band The Moon, called Without Earth, a wonderful, I don't know how you would describe it. I made some notes. How would I describe it? Whimsical, orchestrated, psychedelic pop, definitely influenced by what was happening in, say, the UK in 1967. And I really, really love this record. I love it so much I haven't even opened it yet. It's one of those things, like when you get a sealed record from the 60s, you're like, do you want to open it? Or do I find another copy to play and keep this sealed? What would you do? I think I'm leaning towards I should open this, because records are meant to be played. And just a cool illustration. But yeah, wonderful songs, orchestration, mellotron, cool, great compositions as well. And just a wonderful recording all around. And very happy. Thank you to Mike for picking it up, but also I was very happy to find it there. But I was foolish to not pick it up at the moment. But anyhow, just happy that it's here, and I will open it up eventually. Okay, Without Earth by The Moon. Very happy to find that. Phew. Okay, those are probably my favorite pickups for 2025 vintage style. If any of you have who watch this, if any of you have any of these records, or if you know more about them, or anything like that, please leave me a comment below, or feel free to leave me a comment of maybe the coolest record that you found out in the wild, if you're into collecting these sorts of things. And I'd be interested to know what kind of cool stuff you found, or if you went to any cool record fairs this year or anything like that. Feel free to leave it below in the comments. Okay, that's it. That's my favorites of 2025. Thanks very much for watching. I don't know how long this thing is going to be, but anyhow, I hope you stuck in with me, and we'll see you next time. Please stay safe and happy and healthy, and we'll catch you all on the next episode here in 2026. All right, thanks everyone. Have a good one.